What is intermittent fasting? How does it work? And what are the benefits? The 8-16 intermittent fasting diet is actually the diet that Hugh Jackman did in order to get in shape for the Wolverine. He still had carbs for breakfast. Now, intermittent fasting overall isn't dictating what you eat, just when you eat. So you can still have those carbs and lose weight. The 8-16 intermittent fasting is a form of diet where you fast for 16 hours and only eat for an 8-hour window. So today we're going to cover the key benefits of intermittent fasting, what is intermittent fasting, the history and culture surrounding it, how does it work, why does it work, and the science behind the benefits, my personal intermittent fasting routine and my results, warnings. So some of the main benefits of intermittent fasting aren't just weight loss, they're also sharper mental clarity, increased energy, improved digestion and muscle recovery, improved sleep, less inflammation and oxidative stress, a lower risk of heart disease, increased growth hormones which are great for muscle recovery, lower insulin levels which help you burn fat, reduced risk of type 2 diabetes, and it aids in the prevention of cancer, among many other benefits of the intermittent fasting diet. So what is intermittent fasting? It's where you cycle throughout periods of eating and not eating throughout the day. As I mentioned, the most common one is the 8-16 diet that was done by Hugh Jackman to get in shape for the Wolverine. I've actually done the intermittent fasting diet for about 8 months now, and accompanied that with a specific workout routine and specific diet. Intermittent fasting has definitely added to and benefited those results. If you want to check out my full fitness program of exactly what food I eat, exactly what workouts I do, check out my course below. Where most people follow a routine where you only eat for 8 hours of the day, may that be from 10 AM to 6 PM, whereas I generally do it midday to 8 PM. But don't get confused, you don't have to eat solidly for those 8 hours. So what's the history and culture behind it? It's been done for thousands of years as a spiritual practice. The idea of breakfast being the most important meal and a solid 3 meals a day is actually a modern day thing. Now, intermittent fasting overall isn't dictating what you eat, just when you eat. So you can still have those carbs and lose weight. But how does it work? Where you won't be eating for those 16 hours, your body will then start to burn the fat reserves to use them as energy. The first week or so is a little bit tough because you're used to having those 3 meals a day, eating breakfast in the morning, eating throughout the day, so it's going to be a little bit of adjustment. But after then, you actually feel less hungry, you don't have cravings as much, and even though you're not eating and you're waking up and not eating for like 4 or 5 hours, you don't actually feel hungry. It's kind of weird, but it's great. And if you're looking to lose weight, you don't want to feel hungry. That's one of the worst things about most diets is that you're craving something, you're always hungry because you're eating little amounts. But you could eat, say, your 2,000 calories amongst a normal day, or you could eat them on an 8-16 diet for 2 to 3 weeks and you'll actually lose weight because of the way that your body is burning fat from those energy reserves that you've already got on you. And then you won't be as hungry, so you won't necessarily need to eat as much because you're not using that food for your sole source of energy. And then when your body's used all of that for energy, it stores it as fat. Instead, on the 8-16 diet, you're using that fat that's been stored on you for energy. One of the great things of the 8-16 diet is that you can have weight loss while still maintaining and even growing your muscle mass. It helps promote the human growth hormone and actually helps you build muscle better. With an increased human growth hormone, you will live longer. And unlike a normal diet, you won't break it as much. Most people on a normal diet will be on a diet for, say, 4 weeks. And it will be hard to stick to that for 4 weeks and not go for a cheat meal somewhere because you're craving something. You've got such a long time to wait until you can actually have that meal. On the 8-16 diet, you have to wait, a maximum of 16 hours. Because again, it's not what you eat, it's when you eat. With intermittent fasting, your insulin levels considerably drop, reducing the risk of type 2 diabetes, and also making your fats more easily accessible to burn. My personal fasting routine and results. I've been intermittent fasting for about 8 months. I've implemented it into another workout routine that I've done, which I feel has added to those results and benefited very well. I'll eat generally between midday and 8 PM, sometimes finish earlier at 7. I used to have massive smoothies for breakfast, with raw eggs, peanut butter, banana, oat milk, protein powder, thinking that that's what I needed to gain muscle. But I would actually feel a little bit sluggish for a few hours after, compared to how sharp I feel now by not having breakfast. Some common questions I get asked are, can you drink on the intermittent fasting diet? Now, if you mean drinking alcohol, it's a form of calories. And if you're looking to lose weight, you want to steer clear of alcohol. But water, you can definitely drink. I know a lot of people also drink coffee, as long as it's a black coffee. But I personally would just stick to water in those 16 hours. How much weight can you lose from fasting for a month? With intermittent fasting forcing your body to burn fat instead of carbs for fuel, if you add exercise in with this, you should burn a lot of fat during that time. In fact, I actually lost 1.5 stone and lowered my body fat percentage in just 6 weeks with a specific diet, exercise routine, which involved intermittent fasting. Check out my course below. How often should you do intermittent fasting? There's no evidence to suggest you shouldn't do it every day for the rest of your life. I quite confidently and happily do it every day, other than rare occasions, and our biology is actually adapted to doing this. From hunter-gatherer Neanderthal days, finding food every now and then, we're not set to a specific clock. Does this mean I have to skip breakfast? No, you can still have breakfast. You just don't have it at the earlier time you usually do. Or if you do, you have dinner much earlier as well. You just have to keep that food and those calories that you consume within those 8 hours. I would often combine breakfast with lunch, just to have a bigger lunch or a bigger dinner. But you could also say have breakfast at 10, lunch at 12, dinner at 6. So I could have breakfast at 12, lunch at 3, dinner at 8. Or I could just have a big breakfast and lunch at 12, and then dinner at 7 or 8. In conclusion, intermittent fasting is a great habit, which can help us from all things in our daily life, such as short-term fat loss, convenience of saving time, and big health benefits in the long term. I definitely recommend giving it a try for at least a month, and see how you feel. For other health and fitness tips to keep you in shape, check out my other videos, drop a subscribe.